Good morning. Okay, we are live again on Saturday morning for our Kundalini breath work and meditation class. So, welcome, Satnam. Go ahead and get settled in. And if you need to have some extra support today for yourself during the meditation, go ahead and grab any type of bolster, cushion, rolled up blanket, towel, sofa pillow, garden mat, whatever you kind of have near and handy that you can use today just to kind of sit up on to give yourself a little bit more space to breathe. We're going to work on some breathing techniques today. And then I'll just give you a little bit more space to open up the body. Um, Today we're talking about stress and ways that we can release and relieve stress. And Kundalini is an excellent practice for that. It's known as the yoga of awareness. So we are very much going to tap into practices and meditations that allow us to be aware of our body and how it's feeling, our mind and how it's feeling, and our spirit and how it's feeling, and connect the union of those three as sort of like a triangulation point to figure out where we're at in this present moment and what we need. And so it's going to be a bit of practice today for you to work on your personal relationship with stress. So we're all at different areas of that, all at different timelines in our life of different ways that we've experienced stress, different ways that we have learned to cope or manage with it. And these ways may be healthy or unhealthy. You have to decide. So, sharing a bit of personal story for me, I have worked in industries that are traditionally and still still to this day very much reliant on change, very much with the expectation and the demands that require me to change very often and adapt. So it's constantly new information and new projects and new deadlines. And a lot of these things, it takes a lot of what's called adaptation energy to be able to meet the challenges of those things, right? Because we kind of have, whether we realize it or not, we have this expectation sort of how maybe we expect our day to go throughout the day. And depending on how much reserve energy we've got going on, maybe when those challenges come up or those differences come up that don't quite meet our expectations, we can kind of go with the flow and roll with the punches and be quite flexible throughout those. But if our energy levels are low, or we are already at that stress, or we have a ton of responsibility on our shoulders to where it's just feeling like a pile of bricks, it's feeling like too much, it's feeling like you're constantly kind of plugging holes somewhere, like water leaking. It can start to be overwhelming. And I experienced that very much in my work life and in my personal life, and kind of saw those overflow. And there were different things that I tried. I tried like energy drink routes, right? Like, oh, if I'm tired, I still have to keep going, right? I tried different techniques of things that I thought were sort of like a quick fix that may help me in the moment. And those things didn't really work. They weren't sustainable long term. They worked for a little while, and then it's like they didn't really do much to help me with figuring out how to navigate that stress in a sustainable and a holistic longevity type of way. And so this is what I want to share with you today about breathing and connecting to the breath, and to see how that can be a way to sustain you and to kind of take a moment to remedy the body, the mind, the spirit, all at once. And it was really powerful for me. The first class that I went to, I didn't realize it at the time, just how much it had become my normal, how much I had on my shoulders, how much responsibility I had to do, how much I was um, putting the responsibility of taking care of others in my life on my plate. And when I went to my first class and did some breathing techniques, it was like all of a sudden, all of this area at the top of my chest felt expansive. And I felt like for the first time in a really long time that I was taking up more space, and that awareness component kicked in for me to realize I've been lessening my space. I've been collapsing into myself. I have not been breathing. I have not been giving my body that oxygen, which goes into our red blood cells. It circulates through all of our body. It helps to regulate these different processes that our intelligent, incredible bodies are built to do to heal us so that we can begin again. It's all a new cycle, right? So that's what we're going to tap into today. We're going to work on the breath. We're going to work on being aware of the body, being aware of how we're feeling, tapping into where we may be hanging on to stress. So we all carry it in different areas. Some of us very, very tight in the hip area, maybe difficult to be seated. So at any part throughout this practice, you can also, when we're seated on the ground, if that cross-leg position is too much for you, grab a chair. It's not about doing everything perfectly. It's just about getting through where you are today and figuring out how to just level up just one little bit. We're just looking for progress, not perfection here. Checking on it may be the lower back, maybe the chest that hurts. You may be sunken in. We're going to focus on our posture today. You may tend to keep the shoulders up towards the ears. That's where mine used to be. I would carry a lot of responsibility, and I would notice it would creep, 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 creep up until, I didn't notice until I had the pain there, right? And maybe the jaw. Maybe you get really tense or you're trying to hold back things that you don't want to say or things that you feel are unsafe to share. So maybe get really tense and tighten that jaw. Maybe it's in your brow, right? We all carry it in different areas. So focus on that today as we're breathing. Focus on how can you give yourself a little bit of relief to relieve that stress, relieve that tension. Because when we are guarded and we are defensive, that long-term stress, that chronic tension, rather than having ease within the body, we can move towards dis-ease, disease. And that's where we start to get these illnesses. We start to get sick. We start to compromise our immune system because we have a lot more stress and fight or flight. And, we're ringing the emergency alarms in our body. So to balance that out, we can just breathe and invite more air in. And it seems so simple, and it seems almost passive in a way. It seems like not much, but I cannot stress this enough how important it is to get more oxygen into your body, to just breathe, just through it all, continue to breathe. Okay? So we're going to focus on that today. I'll also plant a little seed as well. If you're looking for a new practice, you're looking for something to sustain you, you're looking to prioritize your health and wellness moving forward. So 2020, we've almost made it. We're rounding up and we're kind of gearing up for 2021. So as of today, and when we are shooting this live, we are at November 21st. We're exactly 40 days away from the new year. And so the yogis believe that it takes 40 days to ingrain that new habit, ingrain that new awareness, ingrain that new system in your psyche. It takes 40 days. So if there is any little task or habit or breathing that you like to incorporate, that you want to bring in with you through the new year, that you want to help support you through this holiday season again, which is unprecedented and different than things that we've ever seen before in modern history, now would be a good time to start. So I will leave that with you for now. Let's go ahead and bring ourselves down onto our mat, a little bit different than how we normally start today. I'm going to ask that you come down, just lying down onto your back. And we're going to focus in on the breath here. And so this is normally, if you've been in any of my private sessions or any of my beginning breath work, this is how we begin. So we're going to be laying down onto the back. Let your feet spread as wide as your mat. And let one hand come onto your belly, any one that you like. And let one hand come on to the top of your chest. And take a moment just to close your eyes. Relax into the floor. And begin to notice your breath. Just breathe. In and out through the nose. And with your hands placed on your body, begin to notice how the breath is showing up in the body. So maybe you feel that airflow moving through your nostrils. Maybe you feel the rising and falling of the chest. And what I want to challenge you to practice today is to feel that breath originating from the belly. So almost imagine as if you have lungs that are housed there. So when we inhale, you feel the belly expand and lift out. And on the exhale, the belly returns to normal. Maybe if we're pushing all of the air out consciously, in control of the breath, then the belly button comes in closer towards the spinal cord there. So just take a few breaths here just to notice. Very good. Okay, continue that breathing, focusing on the rhythm and the fluidity of just moving all in one cycle. Inhale to exhale. Beginning again, blurring the lines between where the inhale ends and the exhale begins. And this is a technique that I learned probably back in middle school or high school. I was a band kid, and they teach you to breathe from your diaphragm. And so when I was in class, something that was easy to stick to because it was part of the regimen, but somewhere along the way, I forgot that when we breathe through the belly, it's attached to the diaphragm. And the diaphragm works like a rubber band that pulls and expands in the lungs and allows them to fill up just as fully as they can, like large balloons in our chest. How can you give yourself just a little more oxygen today? So let's take it to the next level and let's try to make a wave. So we're going to move up 3 areas in our body. So I want you to visualize and focus that awareness on the body so that the breath begins in the belly. Then you feel it move like a wave up through the ribs. Lastly, up through the lungs and the upper chest. And then on the exhale, we reverse that motion so that now we're just collapsing and letting go at the top of the chest, moving down to the ribs and all the way down through the belly, pushing that stagnant air out so that the navel draws in closer to the spinal cord. Take some time to focus on these breath waves here without judgment. Just do your best and notice where you feel fluid. Notice where you feel a bit of resistance. Very good. So this is the foundation of our breath. This is our breath wave that we'll focus on when we're in our seated posture today. We want to try to return back to this foundation of the breath. So with your next inhale, let those feet come together. Let the arms come up overhead. Give yourself a full body stretch, just like you're waking up in the morning. On your next exhale, slowly bring the knees into the chest. Give yourself a hug, rock from side to side. Give that lower back some love. And as you're rocking, feel yourself lengthening through your tailbone here. So lengthening the spine, getting a little bit more spaciousness to each vertebrae there. Very good. Okay. From here, just turn over to one side. Let your knees guide you. And use your arm to push yourself up. We're going to return to that breath in our seated position. Again, you can grab a blanket, a cushion, whatever you have handy. Bring that gaze inward and upward to the third eye. Return back to that breath and now focus on the posture here. So we are grounding in those areas where we're connected to the ground. So shifting your awareness there, noticing where you're connected. It may be the side of your foot. your ankle, your calf, your knee, the sit bones under your bum. If you're sitting in a chair today, it may just be the bottoms of your feet and grounding through all four corners there. So now that your awareness is focused on that foundation, root yourself to the ground with that foundation. Make it strong so that you can rise up through the rest of your posture. So we're lengthening through the base of the spine, all the way up through the crown of the head, almost as if someone was pulling a string through the crown of the head. So lengthening that space through the torso, lifting and opening the chest, opening the heart center. Letting the chin just be slightly down and back again so that the crown is to lift. Notice what this feels like. Where do you feel expansive? Where do you feel a little bit of tension? And how can we work on releasing that today? With each inhale, we invite more oxygen, more prana, more life force into the body to heal ourselves. With each exhale, we relax and soften, almost as if warm water were being poured over us. Today we learn to practice releasing stress as an act of resistance, as an act that is revolutionary to our rest, to continue to breathe and live and thrive in a world that does not always facilitate our success easily. So despite all odds, how can we continue to breathe? With your next inhale, bring the shoulders up towards the ears. The exhale, roll them down and back so that they sit just a little lower than before. From here, with that gaze inward and upward at the third eye, I want you to think about one quality, one attribute that you would like to incorporate in today's practice. Something you'd like to incorporate off of the mat as well. That can help to remind you that when you embody this quality, that your rest is revolutionary. That you are able to conquer stress. You're able to shake it off. and release it. When you have that quality in your mind's eye, visualize yourself hand writing it on your favorite color post-it. Sticking it to the inside of your forehead. And along with the breath today, allowing this quality to help anchor you when the tension may start to feel like too much in your body. When the mind may begin to feel overactive. When the spirit is calling out to be expressed, how can you return back to the present moment on this quality, on this breath, and let that power you through? So when you have that one quality in your mind's eye, go ahead and begin to solidify that with a little bit of heat and activating energy. Rubbing the palms of your hands together briskly at heart center. And when you feel like it's solid, go ahead and find stillness there. Pressing the palms together at heart center, feel the knuckles of the thumb against your chest. And from here, we're tuning 3 times with Om Namo Gurudev Namo. We're looking for those new creative ways to move through the stress, move through the tension, move through the frustrations. May our highest self guide you today. Inhale deeply. Exhale completely. And inhale to tune in. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Inhale deeply. Suspend the breath. Apply Mulabandha, so pull up on that pelvic floor. Contain that energy, visualize it spiraling from the base of the spine, up through the heart center, up through the crown of the head. And before it's uncomfortable, slowly, smoothly exhale through the nose. Let the arms float down either to the tops of the knees or to the floor, depending on what you feel you need in the moment. Keep that gaze inward and upward and take a moment here just to witness the space that you've created. Flex that awareness muscle. Focus on the body, the mind, the spirit. Notice where you still may hang on to a bit of tension. And celebrate where you may already have created a bit of expansion just from vibrating and projecting your own voice. Very good. Okay, eyes open whenever you're ready. And we're going to do a bit of warm-ups today before we move into our meditation, just to get the spine a little bit flexible, to get those nerve endings open and receptive. Because when we're working on relieving stress, we're working on healing the nervous system too. The nervous system is the part that says, oh, okay, it's time to freak out. It's time to like, this is new. This is uncomfortable. We haven't seen this before. So if we can calm the nervous system and get the message centers where they need to be, that's just going to set us up for even more success. So allow your hands to come in the front of your shins here. We're going to do a bit of spinal flexes. So working on that lower spine. We're going to flex the spine forward on the inhale, backwards on the exhale as we round out. This one's also called riding the camel. So if that helps you with the visualization there of kind of that rocking back and forth, feel free to use that. Main thing is here, we're isolated on that lower spine. So you want to keep the chest lifted, you want to keep the head pretty neutral. And again, that gaze is like a third eye. So let the breath anchor you here. So go at your own speed. If you notice that you're starting to feel a little bit warm and that spine is a lot more flexible, you can always increase the speed. If you feel like you want to move really slow today and be very gentle with yourself, then go that route too. Good. Okay. Inhale forward. Exhale, release. Now bring the hands to the tops of the knees, or depending on your body proportions. I have very long arms. So for me, it's more of the wrists are going to be at the end of my knees. Whatever you need so that those arms are straight and the elbows are going to be a little bit locked to get you some leverage. We're moving that spinal flex up a little bit now so that we're more in that mid area and chest range. So again, just flexing forward on the inhale, backwards on the exhale. Those arms are going to give you some little bit of leverage to be able to move here. So it's more like lifting the heart up as you move forward. There you go. Very good. Keep the muscles on the face soft and relaxed. Very good. Inhale forward. Exhale completely. Here you go. Okay, from here, let the legs come out just for a minute. Let them stretch out. Maybe bounce the knees up and down. Maybe do a little bit of windshield wiper movement. We flex the feet from the tips of the toes all the way up through those hips. Feel that area flex. Very good. Maybe roll the feet around the ankles. Alrighty, let the feet come back into cross-leg position. From here, we're going to do some arm rotations. Again, using the breath to anchor us here. We're going to inhale as we move up. Exhale as we come down. Again, just focus on rotating those shoulders. We really want to keep the neck and the muscles on the face soft. We want to stay grounded through that foundation. Keep that gaze inward and upward at the third eye. On your next exhale, take a moment to pause and then begin rotating in the opposite direction. So inhaling forward, exhaling down. Continue to breathe. Let everything else fall away. It's just you and yourself in this moment with this breath. Very good. Inhale, bring the arms up overhead. Suspend the breath. Apply Mula, so pull up on that pelvic floor. Visualize that energy spiraling from the base of the spine up through the crown of the head. Exhale slowly, smoothly through the nose. Let the arms float down, resting on the tops of the knees. Hands in Gyan Mudra, so that's index finger touches the thumb, just slightly. We're not jamming it in there. Just feel that pressure slightly. And from here, begin to draw circles with the tip of your nose. Inhaling on the way up, exhaling on the way down. Just bringing some relief into that neck area, into that throat chakra area, so that we're able to freely express ourselves here. Just continue to breathe. On your next exhale, take a moment to pause and then begin rotating in the opposite direction. So inhaling on the way up, exhaling on the way down. Drawing circles at the end of the nose. Slowly begin to make your circles smaller and smaller until you come to a neutral space at center. Inhale deeply. Exhale consciously. Very good. Okay, 2 more. So let yourself come onto all fours in a tabletop position. Being mindful that the knees are stacked underneath the hips, arms stacked underneath the shoulder blades. Let's see. If you have quite a bit of pain or anything in your wrist, you can always put your hands into fists here. What we want to do is do a little bit of opposite working here. So opposite hand to opposite foot situation again, because that challenges both sides of our brain to try to match that up. So what we're going to do is the nose stays pointed towards the ground. The crown of the head is going to try to lift and lengthen towards this wall. The heel and the back of the foot pulls against the other wall and stretches, while the arm stretches in the direction of the crown of the head here. Okay, so this is the inhale and the exhale. Just focus on your foundation. Focus on your stability and your balance here. Focus on lengthening through the spine. So inhaling as you reach and pull and lengthen with the head. Exhale as you come back down. Just at your own pace here. Notice where you're carrying tension. Notice where you have an opportunity to come to a new center, a new state of balance. You're doing great. Stretch and lengthen. Continue breathing. Inhale as you stretch and lengthen. Exhale as you return back. Just a few more here. Good. Okay, inhale. Stay up in the tabletop. Exhale. Let yourself come down into child's pose. So we're going to let the glutes come to the heels. We're going to try to bring the forehead to the mat. So if you need an extra blanket, a bolster, something to give you some more space, go ahead and do that here. The arms come out either in front or rested by your side, whatever feels better to you. And just get some long, deep breathing here. Breathing in through the back body. Bringing that awareness to the shoulder blades and the rib cage. Noticing that the breath is inhabiting the back and the body.
Remember those breath waves that you practiced. How can you give yourself a little bit more space, a little bit more oxygen in this pose? In turn, how does that allow you to let go and exhale even deeper? Good. Okay, from here, on your next inhale, let the palms come underneath the shoulders and let the hands push yourself up slowly, 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 so that your head is the last thing to rise. Come back into that cross-leg position. And we're going to move into the meditation. So again, if you need a cushion or you want to sit in a chair for this one, it's also totally fine. Sometimes it's good when you're focusing on these breath work practices to imagine yourself where you may be doing this off of the mat. Anytime you need to call upon your breath throughout your day, it could be in the restroom, it could be in a quiet little corner that you have, it could be outdoors, whatever little sort of space that you can get just to give yourself that time. And it can be as small as 1 minute, 3 minutes. Today we're going to do 11 minutes, and you can work up to that in your own practice. But we're going to do the meditation to relieve stress. And so what we're going to be doing is tapping into that side of the body, that side of the breathing, which is the exhale, which is the release. So we're going to do a segmented breath here. And what it's going to look like is inhaling through 8 different segments, or sometimes we'll call them sips of air. And then 1 long exhale. It's almost like a powerful exhale, okay? So it's through the nose, and the sips go like this. And the sips can be a bit challenging because when you get to that 4th one, maybe you feel like you're already full. But you just keep getting gradually a little bit more. A little bit more. And when you get to the top, you may even notice that all of this tension is building up. It's okay, that's the awareness part, right? So on that exhale, what do? Let it wash over you. Let it relax you. Get it all out in one breath. That's going to work on the part of the nervous system that says, it's time to chill out now, okay? So we'll go ahead and begin here at your own pace. You'll hear me probably, but we're going to do 8 sips in and then 1 powerful exhale through the nose. Again, that gaze is going to be at the 3rd eye, so stay inside with that mind, however active it may be. Just anchor yourself to that breath. Hands here on the tops of the knees again in Gya Mudra.
You're doing great. Keep going, inviting those tiny sips into the lungs. You may notice that you are challenging yourself to ration that breath in 8 steps. You may be able to invite more breath by originating it from the belly. It's all you against yourself right now. Anchoring with that breath. Keep going, you're more than halfway. Let that exhale release all of that tension. Just wash over you and relax.
2 more minutes. You can do this. Good. Quick exhale wherever you are in this cycle. Inhale deeply. Suspend the breath. Focus on releasing that tension as you are suspending. Exhale. Inhale deeply. Suspend the breath and roll the shoulders in whatever direction feels most comfortable to you. Exhale. Okay, last one. Inhale deeply. Suspend that breath. Roll the shoulders a little more quickly this time. You can switch it up and do it in both directions. Exhale. Consciously push all of that air out. And now take the time to come lying down onto your back, onto your mat for deep relaxation. So we use a little blanket today, get a little cozy. So let your feet spread as wide as your mat. Let your arms fall away from the sides of your body. Palms facing up. Let your head rest gently against the floor as the shoulders fall away from the ears. Just begin to relax the breath. So relax the tops of the feet, the ankles, calves, knees and thighs. As you relax the breath, relax the belly, relax the lower back. Relax the rib cage and the shoulder blades as you sink deeper into the floor. Relax the arms. Relax the elbows. The forearms. The hands. Check one last time that those shoulders are away from the ears. As you relax the neck, relax the jaw so there's space between the teeth. Relax the lips, the muscles on the face. The eyes behind the eyelids. Brow, forehead, scalp are all at ease as your head rests gently against your support. So rest, relax now. As your body integrates all of the work that you've put in today, circulating that oxygen, circulating those feel-good hormones as your body heals those 3 trillion plus cells. Slowly begin to deepen your breath as you return back to your body in this moment in time and space. Begin to invite tiny movements into your fingertips and toes. Begin to rotate the hands around the wrists and the feet, around the ankles, in all directions. With your nice inhale, bring the feet together, bring the arms up overhead for a full body stretch. Just like you're waking up in the morning. On your next exhale, slowly bring the knees into the chest. Give yourself a hug. Rock from side to side. Giving that lower back a little massage. Giving those kidneys and adrenal glands just a little bit of love. Again, focusing here on lengthening the spine through the tailbone. Good. From here, begin to rub together briskly the palms of the hands, the soles of the feet. Rub the tongue along the roof of the mouth. Stimulating the body's energy centers and meridian points. And from here, you can either nose to knees and feet overhead to rock and roll on the spine 3 times. Or you can just roll over to one side and push yourself up to come back to seated. Take a moment as you gather yourself to reconnect with your mind's eyes post-it for today. That quality that you will embody. How will you take this quality with you off of the mat? Take a few moments now to send out our peace and blessings to everyone we know, everyone we have yet to meet, and ourselves as well by singing a long time sunshine song. So let your hands come back to heart center, press together at the palms. Again, feeling the knuckles touch the sternum there. Inhale deeply. Exhale completely. And inhale to sing. May the long time sun shine upon you. All love surround you. And the pure light within you guide your way on. May the long time sun shine upon you. All love surround you. And the pure light within you guide your way on. Guide your way on. Guide your way on. May we be happy. May we be healthy. May we be holistically in union, mind, body, spirit. May we always remember that we can continue to breathe this moment with this breath. Satnam. Thank you so much for sharing your practice with me today. I am thinking of you as you continue to navigate this world of change, ever growing, increasing change. I wish you well wishes if you are going to begin a 40-day meditation. Like I said, if you want to start with the 8 sips, you absolutely can. You can also just do long, deep breathing from here until the end of the year. So, wishing you the best from my house to yours. Satnam. We will see you next time.